She slapped me. Right in the middle of the bridal store. In front of the sales staff, other brides, and even my own mother. And the worst part? No one stopped her. No one defended me. No one even looked shocked. My sister, Ria, just glared at me with those furious eyes and hissed. "You always ruin everything. Stay out of my wedding decisions." My cheek stung, my ears rang, and for a moment, I genuinely didn't know what to say. I wasn't even arguing with her. All I did was tell her, very calmly, that the lehenga she was pointing at was way out of budget. That was it. That single sentence, and she snapped. I stepped back, feeling humiliated as every person in the store stared at me like I had caused the drama. My mother rushed to Ria's side, rubbing her back, acting like she was the victim. "Oh beta, don't stress," my mother cooed. "He doesn't understand big weddings. You just choose what you like." Ria sniffed dramatically. "He's doing this on purpose. He hates seeing me happy." I wanted to laugh. Or cry. Or scream. Because the truth she didn't know, and my mother conveniently ignored, was simple. I was paying for the entire wedding. Every single expense. Every deposit. Every vendor. Every dress, every plate, every decoration. Me. Not because I was rich. Not because I wanted credit. But because Ria had been struggling financially. And my parents asked me to help. Begged, actually. They said it would keep family respect. That it would help your sister start a good married life. And stupid, soft-hearted me agreed. For months, I had been working overtime at my job, cutting my own expenses, skipping vacations, skipping outings, grinding day and night so that my sister's wedding could be perfect. And now she had slapped me. For reminding her of a budget that I was the one paying for. I rubbed my cheek quietly, feeling the heat from her fingers still burning on my skin. The saleslady approached hesitantly. Should we continue the selection?" Ria snapped at her, obviously. "Bring me the red Sabyasachi-style lehenga, the one with the heavy zardozi." The saleslady looked at me. It was subtle, but I could see the guilt in her eyes. She knew I was the one paying. She had spoken to me on the phone for the deposit. She had my card on file. I swallowed. "That lehenga is over 5 lakh, I reminded softly. Ria turned sharply, eyes blazing. "You're ruining my big day again. Why do you always meddle? Just because you make some money doesn't mean you get to control everything." The room went silent. My mother didn't say a word to defend me. Not even a gentle, "Ria, calm down." Instead, she stared at me with disappointment, at me. "Just let her choose," she said. "It's her once-in-a-lifetime moment. We'll handle the rest." "We'll?" "No. I would. Like always." My father, who had said he would help, had quietly disappeared the moment the bill discussions began. My mother wasn't working, and Ria had never known the meaning of responsibility. But I stayed silent. Maybe out of guilt. Maybe out of fear of being called selfish. Maybe out of habit. Ria stormed off to try the lehenga. I sat on the couch in the boutique, exhausted, rubbing my temples. That's when something happened that changed everything. The salesgirl approached me again, discreetly. "Sir," she whispered, "your card was declined for the advance payment." "Declined?" "Impossible." I checked my phone. 2 days ago, another vendor had taken a massive amount, one I hadn't authorized yet. I immediately dialed my bank. After a short verification, the representative said, "Sir, your card shows multiple high-value withdrawals approved by a secondary user." "What secondary user?" I asked, confused. "Your sister," the representative said. Ms. Riya Sharma. The one added to your account last month. I froze. I didn't add her. According to our records, the request was made from your mother's number. With your family ID verification. My blood ran cold. Riya. And my mother had added her as a user to my account. And she had access to my money. All of it. The representative continued, she spent 3.2 Indian rupees lakhs in the last 48 hours. Designer sandals, luxury facial bookings, jewelry, and a down payment for a pre-wedding shoot. I felt sick. This wasn't a slap. This wasn't disrespect. This was robbery. I ended the call and sat there, trembling, everything finally clicking into place. The sudden confidence. The entitlement. The attitude. She wasn't worried about budget because she wasn't worried about the money. She had mine. When Riya came out wearing the red lehenga, heavy, glittering, ridiculously overpriced, she twirled and smirked at me. This one, she declared. Bill it to him. My mother nodded proudly. I stood up slowly. A strange calm settled over me. Not anger. Not rage. Clarity. They thought I was trapped. They thought they could use me forever. They thought I'd never push back. They had no idea who they were dealing with. I looked at Riya, at my mother, at the lehenga, at the boutique staff. And in that moment, I made one silent decision. This wedding was no longer happening the way they imagined. Not after the slap. Not after the humiliation. Not after they stole from me. They had crossed the line. And I was about to cross it back. The real story, the twist, had only just begun. The silence in the boutique felt heavier than the slap itself. My cheek still burned, but the deeper pain was inside, knowing my own sister could humiliate me like that in front of strangers. Mom rushed to her side as if I had done something wrong. Ba, Saba, Shaadi ka tension hai, she muttered, not even looking at my face. Tension? That justified a slap? The designer lady awkwardly cleared her throat. Shall we continue? Saba threw the lehenga on the table dramatically. Iski color sense 0 high. Mania nahi pehanunji. I stayed quiet. Not because I was weak, because I wanted to see how far they would go when they didn't know I was the one paying. Mom whispered loudly, Tumbi na, har bat main beach main bol hai dedi ho. Tumhari waja esi saba ka mood karab ho gaya. I laughed under my breath. My fault. Always. But not anymore. We walked out of the boutique, and once we were in the car, Saba continued complaining like I was her personal punching bag. Merry wedding hai, mine. Or tumhar jaga beach main kyan gasti ho? Allah ka wasta hai, stay in your limit. In your limit. The same sentence Dad used to use, the same sentence that made me move out of that toxic house years ago. I looked at Mom, hoping she'd say something. One word. One sentence. But she stared out of the window like nothing happened. When we reached the next jewelry shop, something inside me snapped a little more. Saba linked arms with Mom and said loudly so I could hear, ISS bar tum mat bolo. Tumhari choice cheap lag di high. The salesperson greeted us. Saba chose a heavy gold set, the kind that costs more than 6 months of my rent. She didn't bother asking the price. Why would she? She thought Dad had arranged the funds. Mom looked at me. Mera card do, she whispered. I pulled out my wallet slowly and gave her my card. She took it casually like it meant nothing. But I was watching everything. Her ring, 220,000 PKR. Necklace set, 480,000 PKR. Bangles, 160,000 PKR. Booking, 50% advance, done on my card, again. As we stepped out, Saba looked at me with a tilted head. Tumhair kapta sahi nahi lag rahi. Shaadi main proper dress karna. People shouldn't pity you. This time I didn't stay silent. Don't worry. Shaadi kudin sab muyi yad rakenj. She rolled her eyes. As if. Nobody notices you. Oh, they would. But not in the way she imagined. The breaking point. That night, when we returned home, Dad was sitting in the lounge. Mom immediately rushed to him and said, "We got all the jewelry booked. Bohat Kupsarat High." Dad didn't look at me. Instead he said, "Good. I hope SHE didn't create drama." Saba smirked. She almost ruined my mood today. I went to my old room, shut the door, and stared at my reflection. The red mark on my cheek had faded, but the disappointment in my eyes remained. Why was I paying for a family who treated me like trash? I opened my laptop and checked the transactions. 8 lakhs gone. Just like that. They didn't even say thank you. They didn't even know it was me paying. They didn't even consider whether I could afford it. Next morning, Saba barged into my room. "We're going dress shopping again. Hurry up. Stop sleeping like a lazy cow." That was it. It was the last thread. I calmly replied, "I'm not going." She laughed. "Are you sulking because of a slap? Grow up." I stood up. I grew up the day I learned not to rely on this family. She froze for a second, not used to me talking back. I said, "Get ready," she repeated. I walked past her. "Do whatever you want. But from now on, not with my money." Mom overheard. "Kia matlab? Tum help nahi karogi? Abhi to booking ho chuki hai?" I smiled. "Cancel car di hai." They both stared at me, shocked. "You what?" Saba screamed. "I cancelled every payment. Every booking. Every advance." I leaned closer. "And since you slapped me, I made sure the boutique knows not to work with you without 100% upfront payment." Mom gasped. "Tum pagal ho? Shaadi in 10 days. "Exactly," I said. "Good luck arranging everything without my card." Dad entered hearing the noise. "What is happening?" I turned to him calmly. "Your younger daughter slapped me. Your wife insulted me. Your family treats me like trash. But you all were perfectly okay taking my money." He opened his mouth, but I didn't let him speak. So I stopped it. Saba's voice cracked. "You ruined my wedding." "No," I whispered. "You ruined your own wedding the day you slapped the person funding it." I picked up my bag. Mom stepped forward. "At least stay for the wedding." I laughed. "I'll be there. Don't worry." They looked relieved for a second. Then I added, "But not as your daughter. Not as a guest. As your lesson." And with that, I walked out, hearing Saba's panicked cries echo through the hallway. The wedding day arrived faster than they expected, and much harder than they ever imagined. I showed up right on time. Not in a fancy dress. Not in the dull clothes they expected either. I walked in wearing a simple but elegant black outfit, confident, calm, and absolutely unforgettable. The moment I entered the hall, people were whispering. Not about me. About them. Because every corner of the wedding screamed chaos. No matching decor. No stage flowers. Half the lights didn't work. Catering was late. And Saba? She was wearing a last-minute lehenga rented in panic. Her eyes found me immediately. Wide. Red. Furious. But behind that fury was fear. She stormed over. "This is your fault. You ruined everything." I looked her straight in the eyes. "No, Saba. You ruined everything the moment you raised your hand on me. Guests turned to listen. Relatives watched silently, none daring to interrupt. Mom walked up too. At least don't create drama today. I smiled. You created the drama. I just stopped funding it. Dad looked exhausted, older. We had to borrow money last minute. Caterers refused. Designers refused. Everyone refused. I shrugged. That's what happens when respect is missing. For the first time in years, they had nothing to say. No taunt. No insult. Just silence. Saba's voice broke. You could have talked to me, apologized. I raised a hand. No. You should have apologized. Her eyes filled with regret, but it was too late. I took a deep breath and said the words that ended everything. I'm not your ATM. I'm not your punching bag. I'm not your backup plan. I'm your sister, and you forgot that. After that, I walked away. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just free. Outside, as I stepped into the quiet night, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Because sometimes family teaches you love. And sometimes family teaches you how to love yourself enough to walk away. And that day? I chose myself. The end.